An Indian film has created history by being screened for the first time ever in the last 32 years in the Asset Sidebar section of the Cannes Film Festival, which is meant to promote independent cinema and small filmmakers. Joining me is the director and writer of Id Retreat that was screened in the Asset Sidebar section. Such a pleasure to have you, Maisam Ali, on DD India. How has the reception been to the film?
It has been good. As you said, the film has been premiered and a lot of people liked the film. We had really interesting and good reviews for the film.
Okay. When did the idea first strike you? How long did you contemplate on it?
So I think this was 2015-16 when I think I was almost going to be in the third year of my course in FTI. I was studying film direction. There I got this idea and when we study there, we have to have an idea for our feature film, like feature film is important. So since then, kind of I've been thinking about this, writing different drafts on it, and yeah, eventually.
So it was in the making for at least 5 to 6 years?
The writing was there for a long period of time, that eventually in end of 2020 till 2021, I had a final draft, which I thought I can now make this, because it was good for me. I felt I can do something with this.
You always wanted to make the story around Ladakh, or did you contemplate other locations?
Yeah, as I told you in the previous drafts, there were other locations also. But of course, Ladakh was central because I'm from Ladakh. This is my hometown. The film is about home and belonging. So the location is very important if you see the film. It's almost a film about a space also, emotional space or experiential space, and it is, yeah.
So how much time have you spent in Ladakh? You are from Ladakh, you told us, but now you move between cities. So how much of Ladakh you've seen? You've seen the entire Ladakh since you were there?
Yeah, because I was there from, I think from first class till 10th. So yeah, my formative period was in Ladakh, and my memories, my sense of belonging is mostly there, and also not belonging. So yeah, as the film is.
We see a very different approach towards Ladakh, not the usual approach that one has towards a beautiful, picturesque place. What made you see Ladakh through those eyes?
So me, the film, any film is also like, a film has a particular space, but that space is like it's also part of the expression, how space, like if you think of a painting, in painting the whole expression is sort of is inside a space, right? So in that sense, when you're making a personal film, space becomes very important, like where are you doing a scene, how you are doing that scene, from what angle, and how much you're showing is very important for us. So it is the same space, but it's from a very personal point of view, which suits the film, the theme of the film, and the mood and the narrative of the film.
There is a grim beauty around it, like you're saying that you've seen it through your eyes in a sense. It was a very personal approach towards Ladakh. So was it the demand of the story, the character that was playing the lead role there, that you had to shoot it only in the dark? You didn't have to show the beauty at all, or shoot it in daylight?
So yeah, as you said, the story is about a person who has returned home and just for one night and decides to be outside of the house in the shadows of the night. So this is quite evident, the kind of direction the film is going to be. So he decides to be outside in the shadows. So he's in the dark. He's comfortable in the dark at this moment because maybe he doesn't want to be seen, So, and sometimes when you're in the dark, like if it's dark, it's night. If you're outside in the alley and inside the house it's bright, you can see from the outside, you can see inside, but from the inside you can't see outside. So maybe this person wants to be in those dark spaces, and although he tries to be invisible, even though he has some strange encounters and occurrences, almost like a dream over a period of one night.
There are also some unanswered questions, it seems, around the story. Not everything is told.
Yeah.
So, is that the style of writing and revealing, if I may use that word,
Yeah.
that you've adopted? Is that a style that appeals to you, or was it needed really in the script, or was it just the treatment that made you not reveal every part of the story?
Yeah, I feel, cinema is like a very experiential medium, and sometimes a lot of things get spoiled if you try to explain it too much. You see it and you almost experience it lifelike. You don't go on explaining everything that happens in life. No, you understand it simply. You understand it what is happening. So cinema in that sense is very powerful. It's like a universal language. No, you don't need to explain it. You don't need to verbalize it maybe all the time. But we understand it. We understand our experiences, our memories. We even understand our dreams also. So
Do you think the subject has a universal appeal?
yes, of course, always there is a feeling of loss and disconnect, and there's a feeling of generation loss, or you always feel some kind of a feeling of that something is getting lost as time passes by. And it is a universal subject because a lot of us have this feeling that, even on Instagram and Facebook, people say, where is the home? Where is the home? Somebody is saying home is in the mountains. Somebody is saying home is at the sea, or somebody is saying home is within you. So this is a very universal question, like everyone feels that all around the world.
Then how did you zero in on Harish ji for the lead role?
So Harish ji, when I was looking for because that it is a story of one man in that sense, and it's very important to have the right person. So when I was looking for the main cast, I was looking at many actors. So when I came upon Harish ji with because he had done similar independent films with other seniors of mine also. He was in this film called Aise Hi and various other films. So I just find his presence very apt for the film actually. I felt like this is a person how he is. Like, because for me it's very important when I'm casting, it's important how the person is really, not about acting but about being, like how a person really is, because the camera will capture that. The camera is like that. You don't need to really act. So I find him very apt for the role, his presence or the way he is. The way he moves, his rhythm and everything. Ultimately, it's about rhythm, right? So I find that very interesting. He's a very internal actor, so.
Right. What kind of conversations would you have with him on set? Because he has a huge body of work already. 50 films he's already acted in. Gangs of Wasseypur. Starting 1995, he's done so many films.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was just trying to make him at home with the idea, with the theme. It was difficult also because there are a lot of writings. Maybe at first reading it might not come to you directly. There are verses in the places, and so it was an ongoing process for him to understand like that this is a person who's trying to be here but who can't be here also, and mostly around discussions about I would have written some poems, and also I would we will read those poems, and I would discuss my idea of home. Like, for example, for me, home is like a place you find rest. Everybody wants to be at home, but home is also a place. Home is also a place where the boundaries start coming up, right? Home is also a place. When there's a home, then there is an inside and there is an outside. The outside also is sort of. Outside also becomes there, no? The separation starts happening. So I was always have this ambiguous idea about home. Maybe I am like a nomad kind of a person at heart. I don't know. My great grandfathers were sort of traders between parts of earlier Central Asia, now parts of China. They used to trade between Ladakh, Central Asia, and they would get stuff from Amritsar, so. I find those stories very interesting, like people going for trade on camels and all those things, singing, picnic, and always on journey. I don't know.
In Bharat, you choose to make a feature film instead of a documentary, for instance. I mean, because somebody maybe as creative as you could have also, gone down that lane.
Yeah, both. I mean, fiction and non-fiction, like both are sort of exciting mediums to work in. Currently, my state of mind, or when I was thinking about the project, I was more inclined towards fiction. FTI is also more fiction bent, less non-fiction. Non-fiction is also very good. Like it's a very great medium to work, to practice, to research, and to study. It's like studying non-fiction. But I was more inclined towards fiction. Fiction. Sometimes they say that fiction is more truth.
Yes,
Fiction
yes.
goes deeper. Depends. Like some people don't like fiction, but I am a fiction reader also, so I like fiction.
Reality, they say, is stranger than fiction. That
Yeah.
reminds me of that.
Yeah.
Since you are from FTII, and I don't know if it's a coincidence, but this year there are so many here who are from FTII whose films are being screened in the Cannes Film Festival. What is FTII doing as an institution that there are so many talented products, in a sense, that it is being able to give out?
It's a very special place. It's a very different place also. We have a very different way of learning and discussing, like a lot of freedom, and that sort of opens up. We see a lot of great works, and we had some great teachers from the past who are sort of mentors of the place. Like Ritvik Ghatak was one of the early teachers there, Mani Kaul, and still today we are very good teachers who would come often to take workshops, and there's not a set pedagogy for like approaching films, but very unconventional one. But it sort of helps us. We have a lot of freedom there. I think freedom is important. Freedom is something I also aspire in whatever I do. Like that's why not to do something mainstream or conventional. I like that. It gives me freedom. I can do whatever I want. I can structure however I want. So
Yes.
I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, and 30 years back, Swaham by Shaji and Karun was screened here in the main competition section. He too was from FTII, but this particular year has been outstanding in a sense for India. Now we hope that India is able to win some of the awards. If not the Palme d'Or, then maybe in the uncertain regard category, or why not the Palme d'Or?
Yeah.
Now, what happens to your film? Because it's already screened here in a sidebar of the Cannes Film Festival. How do you take it forward?
So for this kind of a film, the festival journey is very important. So we are in talks with other festivals, and we want to have a good festival run to able to show the film at other important film festivals is important, and we are in the process for that. Yes.
So, which are the film festivals that you've already started thinking about?
There are a lot of places. I can't tell you right like that because we are sort of in conversation with them.
Okay.
So they might select it, might not select it. So, but
So, you're only looking at film festivals?
film festivals also, and of course we want to hope to get some distribution also in whatever territories. That would be great because ultimately cinema is for people, and it should be seen on a theater with people. That's amazing. Even I would love the film to have some kind of home in India also. So we are trying for that. It's a long process. Writing is a long process. Making is longer. Post-production is even longer. And distribution seems, I'm new to distribution. This will be my first time. But distribution also seems to be like a long journey. Yeah.
Since this was your debut in a feature filmmaking, how did you go about production costs? It's a small budget film, I understand. So, how was it financed?
I think I've been lucky to be, to be involved. Like some people supported me. Some producers came on board and they were interested to help me. That's how it has happened. I don't have any sort of knowledge to share on this. To each his own when it comes to financing films and all. Especially because this is not the kind of film which, it's not a commercial massy film. So there has to be people, individuals, producers who are really interested in, passionate about similarly like the filmmaker. So the producers are very important in that sense. There's one company called Varsha Productions from Mumbai, India. It's a new company. They supported me, and there's another company from Bangalore called Barry Center Films. The producer's name is Tanika Chalam. So they were very passionate about these kinds of films, and they wanted to take a risk, and we are here. Yeah.
And being in FTII in the past and knowing so many people must also have helped.
Absolutely, absolutely. Without that, it was not possible. That's very important because all the crew and the human resource and everything, it's because everybody's from FTI. Everything is done by FTI, all the aspects like all the assistants and all the HODs of various departments, sound and everything, like even vendors also. Please give us some discount, you're a senior types. And without the support of FTI and without the teaching of FTI, I don't know if I would have made maybe some other film, but this film I don't think so I would have made.
Will you be taking the film to Ladakh and see how the people there respond to it?
Yeah, of course, I would love to screen it there and see what people think there. It's important to sort of engage with the audience. Yes.
Right. I was speaking to Sandhya Suri, the director of Santosh, the other day, and she spoke about how Satyajit Ray was one of those cinematic greats that influenced her. Who are those greats that have influenced you on your journey? I mean, there's something very, very individualistic to every director, and I can sense that there is something very individualistic, about the story treatment, how you see the characters through your eyes, the story through your eyes, and that's, I think, a universal thing across films. So, who are those greats that have influenced you along your way?
There have been many filmmakers because part of Film Institute you see a lot of films. That's part of your teaching that you, every day almost you see 2 films there and like maybe sometimes more than 2 films.
But sometimes a greater imprint is left.
Yeah, so of course Satyajit Ray is like, you can't deny the influence of Satyajit Ray on any sort of filmmaker who wants to do some serious cinema in India. I think for everyone Satyajit Ray is very important. I also love whatever I've seen of him is like very important. He's like one of the master filmmakers from our country. Apart from him, of course, I also like Iranian cinema, like Abbas Kiarostami is a filmmaker, or earlier Japanese filmmakers, and feel similar culturally. They and even a lot of French filmmakers actually also, whose films I saw, and they're almost like although they are dead, but their films are almost like a guiding light to us, if I may so to speak. So, because when we see their work and then we feel like, okay, I also feel like saying something, which might be valid.
Could you get time to see any films here in the main competition section
Not
or
yet.
outside?
Not yet.
It's
That's
your
a
first
sad
time
part.
in Cannes?
Yes, yeah. I've been involved. I have to do sort of like try to meet people and distribution and all those things. So
But this is also an opportunity to see some films.
I know. I'm going to see some films. I'm going to see Payal's films for sure and some other films. I'll try to catch up, but I was involved in, it's different when you have a film here and also. But yeah, I go to other festivals and I see films. But here, I'm with my film, so it's a bit.
So what is the biggest support that you have, Maisam? You said that you're like a nomad and you have a different take towards family, which partly perhaps is reflected in the film as well. Who is your biggest support?
It's a very good question. Yeah, I think, absolutely. My friends, my family also, they don't maybe understand. It happens, no, they don't understand exactly what you're doing, but they support you. Their support is very important because they're there. And my friends also, very important because my friends, I discuss with them and I talk to them on small things, on small details, and life, on art and everything. Like, so my friends, they have supported me for this project also with whatever they could. So I would have discussions with them on the script, on a poem which I want to use in the film. Or I think my friends have been very supportive, apart from my family. Yes.
And what stimulates you intellectually and emotionally?
Yeah, good art is great. Like you read a good book, you read good films. It's always, I feel like it's great to be surrounded by good poetry, good literature, good films. Especially today, you feel so entangled in your head sometimes, no? But if you, it's almost like you go at the sea and you feel free, or if you take a train journey, it sort of frees things. Similarly, art also is like it really inspires you. Read a old classic book. If you read a story by Franz Kafka, it inspires you. It's still sort of so wonderful and mysterious. Similarly, for great world cinema, it helps these things.
You are very young, and there are many youth in India who would want to be where you are standing today. You are, in a way, an inspiration to a lot of the Indians and a lot of people around the world. What would you say to somebody who would want to hone their talent? How to go about it? So it's just a seed. It's just a thought that strikes a person at an age that you want to become a filmmaker, you want to become a cinematographer, or some sort of a cinematic artist. But how do they really move forward on that?
It's I think for me though, it's been when I go to FTI, so it's a coincidence because yesterday I was at the beach. I asked myself, why do I want to make films? I think fundamentally, conceptually, one has to keep asking yourself.
You're doing what you're doing.
Why you're doing what you're doing? You have to constantly ask yourself, and that maybe pushes you to do something different or not fall into a certain set of things. But advice, I don't know what advice can I give. I think if somebody gets initiated into any sort of artistic practice, then that's great. But then after that, you have to you should find ways to continue it also, not to give up, I guess, to be persistent in some sense, because film has a lot of processes. So maybe this process is not working, but there is another process and you can still work on this process. So it's a very, very long journey. Like for a director, they say what I learned from this particular film is like I've just made one film, but what I learned that one has to be constantly engaged, like never take your eye away from the viewfinder. Something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what I also found very intriguing is what you said, that you have to keep asking yourself why you are doing what you are doing.
Yeah.
Now, some can also interpret it in a way that they would want to better their work every time.
Yeah.
They are doing something. Because when you question your self's engagement in a particular occupation, maybe that also leads you to improve your product even further the next time.
Yeah.
So, are you somebody like that who would want to keep challenging himself?
Absolutely. That's the only thing. That's the only thing which excites you, I think whoever we are, like whatever field we are in, now we say we are a global power and everything, but we should. There should be a lot of people who are striving for excellence also. I feel, we should do good quality also in whatever we do. Of course, money is important, and I've not been good in financial matters. But this, I feel that challenging yourself, pushing boundaries, it excites me.
India is a land of storytelling, they say, but there are interesting stories really coming from all around the world.
Yeah.
Where do you think Indian cinema stands in terms of storytelling and the other elements that are required to tell a good story? Maybe animation, visual effects, gaming, post-production. Do you think that we are being able to hone the talent the way we should? And what is the way forward that you see for the country and the youth particularly?
I'm not an expert on this. It's a very big question. But I guess, on the contrary, I feel like the quality of films are going down only, to be fair, honest. People also know this. Even if you see a film being made in whatever category, you see a film 5 years before, you will feel ki, oh, this is a better story, better drama. Now it seems like we don't care much about, even a good story, like we are not able to see a good story also. So like people are not going to theaters, of course, for many reasons, right? OTT and after COVID, and but they are saying only films with big stars will be screened in theaters. They can only pull people into theaters. But I feel if you work well on a good story, whatever you are doing, you might not do an art film, but even if you are doing a good narrative film, if you'll do good, I think people will come and watch. No, it happened in few examples. So yeah. with respect to filmmaking, something like this, I feel.
So, what is the next project of yours that you're thinking about already, or you've started working on?
I have an idea, very initial sort of an idea, but it's somewhere related to a middle-aged woman, as I said before. So I want to see, yeah, what happens with that. It's a relationship between a mother and a son. Again, a personal story. So I would love to develop that and see.
So, again, would it be like a solo journey, something around this, or something very different? You
I
said you
think-
want to challenge yourself every time.
Yeah, but I think it won't be a solo journey. It will be a different treatment. It will be more like a relationship between two people. This film is more like a single character and the space around him. The other film is, I feel like it's more about the relationship between two people, like between a mother and a son.
We leave it at that, Maisam. Such a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for taking out time for DD India. It was my privilege to speak to someone whose first movie, or should I say, who's made history in a sense by getting his film to screen in the Asset Sidebar section here at the Cannes Film Festival. Such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
So that was a conversation with Maisam Ali, a very promising filmmaker from India. He's reached Cannes, the first time an Indian film has been screened in the Asset Sidebar section of the Cannes Film Festival in 32 years since the inception of Asset Sidebar. With cameraman YK Loknath, this is Munun Bhattacharya from Cannes for DD India.